This is problem number 1 on the practice problems for quest number 4. Factor each of the following expressions completely. If it cannot be factored, write prime or cannot be factored. A, x squared plus 14x plus 24. So the basic idea here is the PS thing that we've been talking about in class, product sum. So I'm just going to write this out, and you don't need to write all the details, but I will here. We're looking for two numbers whose product is positive 24. Grab that sign in front of the 24, and whose sum is positive 14. So we're just going to go ahead and start listing some of the factors of 24. And then we're going to find their sums. So two numbers that multiply to 24, for example, 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. And I think that's a complete list. You're also welcome to put negatives in front of both of them, right? Negative 4 times negative 6 is still positive 24. And then we're going to go ahead and find the sum in each row. 1 and 24 is 25, 2 and 25. 2 and 12 is 14, that's our winner. 3 and 8 is 11, 4 and 6 is 10. As soon as you find the winner, you can stop. And so then all that's left to do is write the final answer here. So first terms are just going to be x and x. That's how we'll build the x squared. And then the answers in our case were positive 2 and positive 12. So that's what goes in here. Plus 2, plus 12, and we're done. Part B, a squared minus 7a plus 10. Same idea as before. Product and sum in that order. So we want two numbers whose product is a positive 10, grab the sign, and whose sum, grab this sign as well, is negative 7. So in this case, let's see, if they multiply to a positive, they either both need to be positive or both negative. And if I want them to add up to negative 7, they better both be negative. You're welcome to make the table. We're just going to jump to the answer. So if you're making the table, pause the video here. But we'll copy the x and the x. And it turns out the magic numbers that work here are minus 2 and minus 5. So x minus 2 times x minus 5 is the answer to that one. Part C, same as before. Product equals, grab the sign, negative 21. Sum equals, grab the sign, negative 4. So I'm just going to, I won't make the whole table, but I'll just start listing some things that go into 21. It could be 1 and negative 21. It could be 3, let's see, it could be negative 3 and positive 7. And then we could just swap the negative signs around. And you can see that when we add these guys up, negative 3 plus 7 is positive 4. So if you get positive 4 and you want negative 4, well, it's easy. All you have to do is change the signs. So instead of negative 3 and positive 7, we'll swap them. That's a nice little trick to have in your bag. So our answers here, again, x and x in the first terms. And then we go positive 3 and negative 7. By the way, if you want to check any of these things, all you have to do is FOIL or do the double distributive law and make sure you get back to the original problem. Okay, part D, 2z squared minus 12z plus 18. First thing to do is not product sum. First thing to do is look and see if there's any common factor you can pull out of all these terms. And the answer is, yeah, there's 2 you can take out. Let's factor that 2 out of everybody. Now you get z squared minus 6z plus 3 plus 9. Okay, and now that the thing inside is nicer, now that it's just a 1 in front of that z squared, we're ready to do our product sum business here. So we want two numbers whose product is, grab the sign, positive 9, and whose sum is, grab the sign, negative 6. So pause the video if you're looking for these numbers, because we're going to go ahead and write the answer. So x and x in the fronts. The two numbers in question here both happen to be the same number. They're both -3. So -3 there, -3 there. That's the answer, but we're missing something. What we're missing is the 2 that we factored out in the beginning. It doesn't just disappear. So it sits there waiting until the end. So that's fine. If you are feeling very fancy, you can shorten this thing up. How can I write x minus 3 times itself? I can write it as squared. So either of these is good. Okay, and then finally part E, x squared plus 6x plus 3. So it's in the good form to think about product and sum. Product is supposed to be +3. Sum is supposed to be +6. The only numbers that multiply to +3 are 1 and 3, and -1, -3. Sadly, if I add these ones up, I get 4. So of course this will be the opposite, -4. And neither of them gives us the desired sum. Does it mean we did something wrong? No, it just means that this particular trinomial up here can't be factored.